everyone, how's it going? Matthew Bailey Media here, and welcome to another 2025 movie review. Now, this is not a theatrical review. This is, of course, a streaming movie review because it was a movie that I just saw over the week on Friday, July 25th, as of this recording, that is. And even though today's not the 25th while I'm recording this, so it's been a few days since I saw this movie, but I figured I'd do my review now. And that is, of course, my review on Happy Gilmore 2. Yep, almost 30 years after the last movie came out, which I believe was in 1996, if I'm not mistaken. So 1996's first movie of Happy Gilmore starred Adam Sandler as the titular character, Happy Gilmore, who wanted to be a hockey player. So this is a little recap of the first movie. So basically, he wanted to be a hockey player so bad, but he's down on his luck no matter what he does. And then at one point but then his grandma ends up getting her house repossessed until he can pay off the money. And then he picks up a golf club because of some bet that these dudes made. And he realizes he can make a lot of money by golfing, and so when he goes to a long range driving range and he gets noticed by the late Carl Weathers playing Chubbs Peterson, who wants to teach him how to play golf personally, and when they go to some type of opening for people who can come onto the world tour, the world tour or whatever, or the Tour Championship, I think is actually what it was called for golf. He meets the main villain of that movie, Shooter McGavin, who's played by Christopher McDonald, great actor by the way. And then they start sort of getting a little rivalry with each other after Shooter witnesses Happy's long range and everything like that. And we get some really classic moments from the original film. Like we have the moments where he first gets introduced to Bob Barker on the show. Rest in peace, by the way, Bob Barker in reality. And then we also get his old boss of one of his original jobs, named Mr. Larson. And I forgot the name of the actor who plays him, but that actor unfortunately passed away too before this film came out. And then you have then you have his grandma. You have Virginia Bennett, played by Julie Bowen, who I was totally unaware of was the name of the girl who played Virginia until I saw the movie Hubie Halloween that was released back in 2020, and Julie Bowen was the name of the woman who was playing this girl who apparently was in love with Hubie in that movie, and it turns out it's the same actress, and I was like, oh my gosh, she does not look the same at all, and it's proven in the sequel to Happy Gilmore 2, because she definitely doesn't look the way she did back in the first movie. But at the end of the movie, obviously, Happy wins a gold jacket in golf, and he beats Shooter, and Shooter was not too thrilled, and everything goes haywire for him. Now, 30 years later, in the timeline with Happy Gilmore 2, we follow Happy, who's been married to Virginia over those 30 years since he won Grandma's house back. However, 15 years after the whole situation, his grandma does eventually pass away, but they inherit his grandma's house, and in that time they actually have 5 different kids, 4 boys and 1 girl finally. And in this movie, his slight spoiler, his youngest daughter is actually played by Adam Sandler's real life daughter. Of his 2 daughters, his youngest daughter is playing his youngest kid in the movie of Happy Gilmore 2, which I found pretty cool. And so is his wife, Jackie Sadler, I think is her name, made a cameo in this film. And his oldest daughter made a cameo as well. So that's pretty cool. So it was basically a whole Sandler family tradition of appearing in movies together, which is kind of cool. And we also get a lot more cameos. Like, there's one actor who was actually in Hubie Halloween that shows up in this movie, who plays the son of the late Chubbs Peterson, played by the late Carl Weathers, who recently did pass away a couple of months ago. But this movie does take place about 30 years later. Shooter ends up getting out of an insane asylum, but he gets approached by this dude who is now apparently trying to kick out traditional golf for this weird upgraded version of it.
and he has a certain way of like helping the players cheat in a way to try to get what he wants, and and this actually ends up having Shooter and, slight spoiler again, Shooter and Happy end up putting their differences aside and actually working to save traditional golf, and that's what this whole movie is. But there's one thing that happens at the start of the movie before he gets approached by the villain that I was totally unaware of. It's just like with the first movie, they made it to where his dad got killed off in the movie, at the beginning of the movie, which is why he went to live with his grandma. And in this movie, we have a similar situation where a known, I'm not going to say who it is, but a known character from the original does get killed off in this movie, and it turns Happy into like a drunken alcoholic who hasn't played golf in over 10 years in the timeline. And but then this whole situation with Maxie, with the name of this new league that's coming out by the villain, ends up causing him to get back into the game, and even teaming up with Shooter in the process, which I thought was crazy. Now, with it, as to my actual thoughts on this movie, I thought it was an okay film, I will admit. It wasn't as good as the first movie, I will admit that. I still pretty much loved the humor of the first movie. But with this movie, it was kind of, to me, a sort of waste of... I mean, I'm not saying it was a waste of time. I mean, Adam Sandler still does a pretty good job portraying his character in this movie. And a lot of different cameos showed up in this movie, like actual known golfers in real life showed up in this movie. We got different cameos. Like I said, the guy from here, there's actor from Huey Halloween that shows up in here. You got Travis Kelce, who, if y'all don't know, is apparently the boyfriend of Taylor Swift, which I thought was interesting. I didn't think he'd make a cameo. There's some other characters like Eminem, or actors like Eminem, Bad Bunny in this movie. And apparently there's even a character from The Waterboy, apparently, that shows up in this movie. It's been a long time since I've seen The Waterboy, but maybe I'll go back to that eventually. And like I said, so many different cameos, so many Easter eggs and references to the original. I feel like, to me though, it seems like this was an okay legacy sequel, because that's a thing I've noticed a lot, is that a lot of different franchises are getting like legacy sequels, whether it's in the form of a movie or a show, and things are just and they're giving, like, adding more stuff to the complexity of the original product that they're doing a legacy sequel for, or prequel, whatever you want to call it. So with this being a legacy sequel, I will say it's an okay film. I will admit that. Not as good as the first, but still a decent film. So anyways, let me give you my rating of the movie. So for my rating of Happy Gilmore 2, like I said, it's an okay legacy sequel. I wish it could have done a little bit better when it comes to some of the story elements, especially near the end of the movie. Because the first half of the movie I thought was a decent way of storytelling until the third act, where everything sort of happens, and I think that, to me, was just what killed it for me. But other than that, it's a okay film. So I'm going to give Happy Gilmore 2 a 3.5 out of 5. Yep, 3.5 out of 5. It's an okay film, I will admit. Probably not going to end up on my best films of the year list, though, even as an honorable mention. But it's like in the middle between the best and the worst in my mind. So anyways, that's all for now in this review, and I will see all of you guys in the next video.